the Indy Spotlight. I'm your host, the #certified Mark J. Williams, here with my co-host as always.
The voice of Texas wrestling fans, Kyle Smith.
And this week, as seen on AEW and Impact, we have, like I said earlier, your Lord and Champion, the final boss, Exodus Prime. Thank you very much for joining us today, man.
What's up with you, man? Y'all doing good?
Yeah. So you've definitely made a name for yourself. We'd say you're the hardest working guy in wrestling, but you don't just stick to wrestling.
No.
It's actually something I'm always amazed about, seeing everything you post and everything you're doing, from wrestling to wrestling training to music to video games to family life. Like, how do you sleep? Do you sleep?
Yeah, that's the more appropriate question, I think.
Yeah, no, I sleep. I get a good amount of sleep. It's about balance, you know what I'm saying? So everything's a balance. So I manage it well enough, you know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? It ain't perfect, but it's working, you know what I'm saying? So
Good. All right. So our usual startup question is, what made you fall in love with wrestling, and then how did you get into being a wrestler?
Oh man, that's a good question. It's always a good question, actually. I pretty much grew up in a house with, like, we didn't have cable until I was like in middle school, like 13 to 14. So the only time I could catch wrestling was like Sunday Night Heat sometimes, or sometimes Velocity, or I would like have to go to my friend's house. But actually, the first wrestling match I ever saw, I was about maybe 6 or 7. But we got the TLC tape from the Hardys, Dudleys, and Agent Christian, and I watched that match probably 100 times because that was the only thing that was on that tape. It was just a documentary about them setting up to the match, and then it was the match itself. And go ahead. But yeah, that was the first match that I saw, and so instantly Jeff Hardy became my favorite wrestler at the time. So it was really Jeff Hardy that like got me into wrestling, which is why I oftentimes do this one time bomb. But yeah, it was Jeff Hardy that got me into wrestling. Then from there, it just kind of grew.
Yeah, I get that from this one time bomb. I was like, okay, like Jeff, also because one of the retro shows, you kind of got to perform and do the whole thing with like Jeff Hardy and stuff like that. But it's weird when I watch you, like mannerisms and even some of the moves. You really remind me of Orton a lot. Like, do you take a lot of influence from that too? Or?
Oh yeah, like I say, Jeff Hardy was my first favorite wrestler, but my favorite wrestler of all time is Randy Orton. Like I said, I do model a lot of my mannerisms around him. Mannerisms around him. Randy is very influential with me, which is why, for a long time, the cutter was my finisher. Yeah. I used to do it on my friends all the time before I ever stepped into a wrestling ring. So it was just one of those things. It was just fate for me to use that as a finisher. So yeah, like I love Randy, just smooth in the ring. Yeah. I always say that Matt Riddle had the storyline I should have had with Randy because this is how strongly I feel about Randy Orton being one of my favorite wrestlers of all time.
Now you do one of the moves I love most that you've done every now and then is that Randy Orton backbreaker.
Yes, sir.
I've always loved that move, and not many people have used it or stolen it. And I'm like, man, that's such a great move. Why don't people do it? And you started doing it, and it's probably because of the way you're built and the size. It just looks so cool when you do it.
Yes, sir. I mean, it's one of those things, man. Like, you gotta understand these moves hurt us too. So it's just one of those things to where I don't really do that. You know what I'm saying? Simply because man, the back problems.
Right.
The back problems starting to stack up. You know what I'm saying? So. Even from the bumping, it's really from like the traveling, the constant driving all the time, and then we don't always have the best posture when we sit. Like I know right now my posture is terrible how I'm sitting, so this is going to contribute to the back problems. Right. So, but like it's really like the driving, honestly, that's really like kind of like killing my back, honestly, because sometimes the matches like stretch me out a little bit. You know what I'm saying? So
That's where you get the exercise in. And
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So speaking of like driving and being on the road all the time, is that like, do you prefer to drive or do you prefer to be passenger?
It just depends. Like, I like controlling the music, honestly. You know what I'm saying? And simply because, like, I like to play my music. You know what I'm saying? But sometimes driving can be very, excuse me, I'm using the wrong word, but cathartic. Because you know, you sometimes you zone out, but you pay attention. But I do a lot of reflecting when I'm driving. You know what I'm saying? And like, you know, people don't mess with you when you're driving. You know what I'm saying? So you know what I'm saying? So it's like I can just focus. I know, especially when you're on those long stretches of road where it's just you and just a few other cars, and you can just cruise control it. So it just depends. If I'm super duper tired, of course, I love going on trips with people because you have that option. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. But sometimes during those longer drives, like when I did the AEW taping in San Antonio, I had to do that. I had to 4.5 hours to San Antonio and back. And then I worked that morning, and then I had to work the next morning. So it's like one of those things. So that's the hardest thing. Is the wrestling is, you know, no disrespect to anybody. The wrestling for me is the easy part. It's everything. It's the other 99% around the wrestling.
It's everything around the work.
Sorry if that was a little long-winded.
No.
Oh no, that's fine.
What we like.
Yeah.
Going to the traveling and everything like that. Who is your favorite person to travel with, and who do you absolutely hate? Like, you're just like, you know what? I really don't want to ride with you.
And why is it Skip?
Yeah, that's what I was getting to. I was like, why is it Skip that you don't want to travel with?
The answer to both of those questions is Angel.
Oh shit!
I love Angel, but I hate him. Angel's one of my brothers.
And we're talking about Angel Camacho.
Angel Camacho, yes, Angel Camacho. He's one of my brothers in this business, and I love him to death. But you know, he's like a brother. You know what I'm saying? You love him, but you hate him. You know what I'm saying? Like,
nobody gets under your skin like family.
Yeah, but if I'm being honest, like, I've never really just had a bad experience riding with anybody. If I'm being honest, every experience I've had has been good. It's just, like I say, just always good, you know, to shut the road and to, you know, especially when people get cues, you know what I'm saying? And normally people understand, like, it's a time to talk and it's time to shut up, you know what I'm saying? And as long as that's understood, and that's always been understood, like, even with Skip, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, so, like, it's just one of those things, it's just how it goes.
So going back a little bit to our first question, the second half of it, we all know you kind of came through DFW All-Pro.
Yes,
how
sir.
did you find that, DFW All-Pro, and then how did that kind of happen?
It's a long-winded story, man. So actually, I went to community college, and when I was in community college, I was thinking about being a wrestler, but I never took it seriously because I was never athletic, and I was never really committed to anything growing up. So I thought about it then. That was 18, 19, 20. But then I ended up going off to college for a year. And then I was thinking about it shortly after I left actual university. And then I fell in love with my ex-wife. And then I just kind of like let life take over. And so one of the schools that I was looking into was actually Kellytown Brook. Rest in peace. Barrett Brown, I think even Keith Lee, a lot of other people at the time were kind of like in that process or around there at that time. Right. And the only reason I didn't want to go is, you know, simply because from where I came from, you know what I'm saying, like, and where that was, you know what I'm saying. So it was like, but also it's simply because the way I was raised. If you was driving further than 20 minutes, you was going out of town. So I was just too lazy to make that commute. And so, but I do remember reaching out to Barry, and it was like 2011. I remember 2010, 2011. I remember reaching out to Barry and Jason, just being an absolute, fan, just like, yeah, man. But I was asking them about the school and like how the training was, and they was saying that it was good. Just come check it out, and then and so I remember when I faced Jason for the first time, which was like my first
What's your
my
first
first match
Yeah.
my first match at MPX.
Yeah.
I shared him those a screenshot of those messages.
Right.
And it was just one that made that match just that much more special.
Yep.
At least for me, just knowing
Yeah.
that I said, hey, maybe one day we'll turn up in the ring, and then we was able to
Right.
do that.
Awesome.
So Chris Hicks asks, with the obvious influence of wrestling in your music, do you foresee your music playing a larger part in your wrestling career beyond things of your entrance music?
Yeah, like before I started wrestling, like that was my first love, writing music, because I started off writing poetry, but I always thought poetry was a little boring, so I just wanted a way to express myself, and poetry was the way I wanted to do music, and that's what I started doing. 2017, and I just finished performing with these guys I was making music with in Austin. And it was good. Like I had my Replica WWE title, like just performing music, and so it was a good performance. And then we was sitting in a Wendy's drive-through, and I was like, I'm just sitting there thinking about it. I'm like, you know what, y'all? I'm done with music. I'm finna go be a wrestler. You know what I'm saying? And then about 6 months later, I started training at DFW All Pro. And it was just one of those things that maybe now it will, but music just didn't give me that rush that I was looking for. Because I'm a creative. I'm creating a lot of things. Like I say, I always create my own logos, design my own gear, music, everything. If I can do it myself, I'm going to do it myself if I can. But I also was into dancing growing up. I also love acting. I did a lot of plays like in church growing up and things like that. And I like action movies, and I always wanted to be a ninja growing up. So so wrestling lets you be all those things.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Wrestling is everything.
Mm-hmm.
And so and once I did my tryout at DFW All Pro, I just knew that, okay, well, this is the missing piece, you know what I'm saying, that I've been missing to not only light a fire under my ass, you know what I'm saying, personally, but also professionally.
Yeah. Going in a little bit to, like you talk about wrestling and music and how you kind of intertwine them and how you're very creative with yourself and you do everything yourself. If someone approaches you and say, hey, can you create me an entrance music? Do you feel you can be creative enough? It's mine. I do it for me.
So the thing with my creative process with music, like I said, I'm not trained in music. Like even with music, I'm self-taught. Like I don't know how to play any instruments. I know how to play simple melodies, but I know how to splice. I know how to mix. I know how to master, and I know how to use samples or simple melodies and manipulate them to get the sound that I'm looking for. And so, with that being said, now I've been asked several times to make interest music for people, and I have made interest music for a few people. But it's one of those things to where I'm trying to be more on a producer role,
Right.
but it's challenging simply because, it's everyone has something particular that they're looking for,
Yeah, exactly.
and so if it's easy, if I can play a melody that they're looking for, then I can get it right on the money instantly. But if it's something particular they're looking for, sometimes it's harder for me to do that because, like I said, I'm not trained in music. I'm trained to use software, honestly.
And it's also kind of got to be a part of, if you know that person and know their gimmick, know their style, you're like, okay, I can make something like this.
Yeah.
But if someone kind of approaches and you know maybe one or two of their matches, you're like, I don't really know what to do with it.
It's not really that. It's just more so like I asked them, like, okay, send me some influences, things that you want it to sound like, and they'll send me that, and I listen to it, and sometimes I can come up with things pretty fast. Yeah. But it's just one of those things to where I have to be in that zone. Like I'm not always in a zone to make music, and when it comes to music, I don't like to just I can't force it. So like, cause if I'm being honest, every album that I made was recorded within 2 days because I remake the beats within a 2-week span because I get creative musically. So, and it's like when they catch me in that musical way, then I can get them probably whatever they want. But it's just one of those things I'm trying to be more consistent in.
Right. It's kind of early on, it's kind of like a tunnel vision. You're like, oh, I'm in this moment. Cool.
Yeah.
Everything's done.
I was gonna
and then
say,
after a while, you're like, all right, cool. I did it. I'm done. I filled that need for a little bit.
Yeah.
I was gonna say that's why we got like 2 albums almost back to back, and it hasn't really been a whole lot since.
Yeah. First 2 albums, like I just had like pretty much it was actually those 2 albums gonna be one album. But when I made my first few mixtapes, there was always too long. Like there was always like 14, 15, 16, 18 tracks. And like I try to respect people's time. Like I want you to be able to listen to, especially with commutes now, I want you to be able to listen to my whole album in a commute. Right. Like I don't want to you have to dedicate this massive amount of time to listen to it. And then on top of that, it's harder and harder the more and more you write. It's harder to write long-winded, songs all the time.
Yeah.
Without saying the same thing and being repetitive or being redundant.
So would you be interested in doing something like the TikTok tracks that have been starting to become popular lately, in which they've got like maybe they've got a chorus, 1 bridge, and that's about it?
I mean, that's pretty much how most of my albums are. It's like none of them really have more than 2 verses, honestly. But I do just do some long-winded verses to where instead of it being like a 16, it may be like a 32 or something like that. Yeah. And then it'll probably cut to a bridge, and I'll probably have a 8 or a 16 right there. Then just because, like I say, we have short attention spans nowadays. Oh, of course, please.
And while we're talking about music and everything, because you did post last week or a couple weeks ago, you'll never meet your idols or work with them, stuff like that. And everyone thought you're talking about wrestling. You're like, guys, I'm not talking about wrestling. And you even said, you're like, I'm not going to be able to sit in a booth with Jay-Z or Dr. Dre or stuff like that. What is kind of your musical influence, and who would you, not necessarily idolize, but like, oh man, if I got the opportunity to work with him, that would be amazing?
Yeah, like Jay-Z is definitely like on the top of their list, not only for his music, but because of his life story. Like he started from exactly like poor in the streets, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
And he worked hard, you know what I'm saying, changed his ways, changed his mind, and now, he's, a billionaire, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's crazy to come from 0 to $1 billion. Like, most people don't even reach $1 million, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, but Jay-Z for one, because it's not only just the music that I want to make, it's just the not the entrepreneur, but it's the mentorship that you can have with him, or like, just to pick his brain for that knowledge and just see how he ticks, things like that. But also, this might seem controversial at this time, but Kanye West, he's always been one of my bigger, he's been one of my big influences too. But also like Lupe Fiasco, Tyler the Creator, people like that. I love Pharrell, Timbaland. You know what I'm saying? If I'm moving on to stuff other than rap, like Foster the People are like a big influence. Kings of Leon, they have a big influence. And then also it's also heavily out video game soundtracks. A lot of my Spotify playlists are full of video game soundtracks.
So Greg asked, have you ever wrestled at Impact?
Yes, I have. It was me and JD versus Chris Bay and Ace. Yep. What was that? September last year. And it was awesome. It was dope. It was an awesome experience. Everybody was great and welcoming. And Chris and Ace were also very dope to work with. So like so I have worked there. Yes, sir.
You had mentioned that you take inspiration for your music through video games. Is that kind of how you came up with your character name for wrestling? Like,
yeah, I grew up in Oak Cliff, so it could have been real easy to fall into a lot of like the traps and or even the stereotype. So video games were like one of the things that kept me tunnel vision. You know what I'm saying? Like it kept me focused. It killed me. Don't get me wrong. Like my mom and my grandparents, like they were also, and my older cousins growing up, there was also a big influence of keeping me out, keeping me out of the streets and things like that. But video games was always, you know, kept me home. Like, you know, that's what I thought about at school. That's what I thought about when I was at church. That's what I thought about when I was doing anything. Like, man, I want to go play Final Fantasy. I want to go play Legend of Zelda. I want to go play Legend of the Dragoon. You know, like all these games. I want to go play Metal Gear Solid. You know what I'm saying? As Power Stone. You know what I'm saying? People don't really remember Power Stone on the Dreamcast.
Dreamcast was great. I had a few great games, but man, it was good.
Xeno Saga and all those games. Like I said, I was a big RPG fan. A big RPG, like turn-based RPG fan. That was like the majority of the games that I played growing up was RPGs.
Okay, so would you say that like you were was it just RPGs in general, like throughout them getting more popular in America, or were like JRPGs some of your favorite?
It was JRPGs because I remember it was '97 and it was '97 and I saw a commercial for Final Fantasy. I think it was 9. And I was like, man, that game was so cool because, you know, they always had the best cutscenes back in the day. And so to prepare for Final Fantasy 9, we had bought Final Fantasy 7 and 8. And so it just kind of like threw me out because I've never played. Well, I did play a turn-based. It was actually a Final Fantasy game, but I was real young. I was like 3 or 4, and for some reason I always thought it was Legend of Zelda when I was growing up. It was actually, I think it was like Final Fantasy 2 or 3, but I was like 3 or 4 when I played this. I don't really remember it, but it was that made me realize like, man, this like the strategy and the stories just always enjoyed me. The JRPG fan, so
very big difference.
Believe it or not, they are 2 different groups. Yeah.
Okay, first one for me. Did you ever get to play like Chrono Cross or Chrono Trigger? Or did you play Luna?
And I never played Luna.
Okay.
Like I say, but like one of the most slept on turn-based RPGs, and I just wish they either remake it or make a sequel, is Legend of the Dragoon.
Yes.
God,
please give me that remaster.
It's just so underrated, and like probably like every couple of years I Google search like Legend of Dragoon remake or sequel just to see if something's popping up.
All right.
Absolutely.
Who's your favorite character and why is it Lavitz?
Oh my god!
Like first of all, fuck you.
I was looking because like I still have 7, 8, 9 in Legend of Dragoon. I still have the physical disc.
Nice.
I still have those discs. I bought them off Amazon like 10 years ago.
Nice.
Cause this before I was real good with emulations or whatever. So I could never find them at moving trading company. I could find like Final Fantasy 8 or 9 or something like that, but I could never find Legend of Dragoon. And so I just, when Amazon started getting popular, I said, I'm gonna see if they got Final Fantasy. They had all of them, and at the time they were all only like $12.
Damn.
So I got all 4 from like $50. I was like, cool.
I used to work at Movie Train Company, and we got a Final Fantasy 7 in. And we sold it for like $200 something. I was like, really? Like, I didn't get that.
First of all, 7's not the best.
I don't think it's the best either. I love it.
Again, I don't know.
It's great.
First of all, 7's not the best. It's great. It's got a good story. It's nice to follow. But first of all, 9.
Yeah,
9 is hands down the best.
It's
Final
great.
Fantasy.
It is hard. It is hard. It is super hard. But I love 8.
Yeah.
It was 8 for me. I think I love the more mature looking character models and the more mature story that they had, and it had that more. Well, you know, 7 had a modern story, but I think it was just like 8 was like, I just like the character models a little bit better.
So 7 was Cloud. 8 was Strife. Right?
No, 8 was Squall.
Squall,
yeah,
that's right.
Because Strife is Cloud's last name.
Right.
9 was Zidane. 10 was Titus.
And that was actually going to be my wrestling name at first.
Zidane?
Nice.
I would have immediately been best friends.
No. I was like, honestly, the fact that every time you've been on TV and it's been reviewed by one of my favorite WrestleTubers, it's like they'll talk about your match for like a split second. It's like, Sammy Guevara squashed the wrestler with the best name I have ever heard.
But actually, like, my name is polarizing because like I read comments and Ah man, hold on. I want to apologize that my wife always keeps you up at every show, whether it be Impix or VIP. I'm sure it's nothing but love, bro. It's alright, man. Like those FUs are like I love yous to me, so that's all good. But back to what was I saying, man? Dad brain just hit
Your
me.
name,
Yeah.
varies.
Yeah, it varies,
It.
but people just love it. Like it's just one of those things. I read the comments and I respond. Like I'm sorry, I'm very vocal. I'm talking my noise, but like no, some people hey, like no, everybody's entitled to their opinion. Like I don't take it personally. Like everybody's entitled to their opinion. But it is one of those things that I've seen that people either love it or hate it. Like it's a love or hate thing.
I will say, still to this day, I keep calling you Exodius. As long as we know each other.
And that was the original name, and somebody told me to shorten it because they said they thought
It was? I fucking knew there was a reason! I knew there was a reason!
because like I said, it's a random name, but when I chose it, like I was like, okay, my career is gonna be like I'm gonna assemble the 4 pieces of Exodius.
Yeah.
So by the time I'm get the final 5th and final piece, I'm signed and like you know what I'm saying? Like
I love it. You fucking Yu-Gi-Oh references for the goddamn win. That's a fucking
so that's all. But somebody told me that it was just Exodius was a little bit
One syllable too many.
Yeah, just a little bit too long.
You can't chant Exodi and the flow is right.
You could, yeah. It's like you could, but
Exodius.
And it doesn't flow as
It's a little bit too long. It's a little bit too long. I agree.
3 or 5. It's got to be one or the other.
3 or 5.
And then I said in Prime was just I don't know why I chose Prime. It was just. And then I definitely didn't.
I figured that was a Transformers
I didn't grow up watching Transformers, so I didn't even think. I didn't even think of Optimus Prime.
Huh.
I mean, I knew about
Right.
Transformers, but I'm just what I'm saying. Like since I didn't watch it, it wasn't the first thing. So I never thought it.
You were just
sounded
shopping
like
on Amazon once. Goes, oh, Prime, cool.
No. And it was all subconscious. It was all subconscious because this is like his base form. This is
No, that's what it was. No. That's what it was. Now I remember now. It's because I was like, because I started training at 27, so I was like, well, I'm entering my wrestling career pretty in the prime of my life. So that's pretty much where it came from. But like, it was just like, it was just 2 random names that like, it's just kind of like I do with music. You write music. And the words have the meaning, but sometimes you just gotta find the meaning sometimes. So it's like even with my old rap name Ace Vivid, like I just chose it because I'm like, well, Ace means 1, so I like being 1. And then Vivid is
Prime
because
Ace, yeah.
it is awesome because Vivid is because I'm very vivid, like with my personality and the way that I express myself. So that's why I chose those 2 names.
Concise.
Yeah. So
Gotcha.
but. It's just 2 random names that kind of like found this meeting.
Michael, I was thinking prime time Deion Sanders. Okay. So Exodus Prime, that's the name that you have now. Would you ever consider like changing that or evolving it outside of like having to if you signed a contract?
Yeah, like I actually thought about changing my name like a few times. Actually, I was gonna change it to Victor Ville, but I was just told not to because I was hearing that the Exodus Prime name was unique and it was catching on.
Yeah.
And so they just kind of like just don't change it. Like, of course, if I got signed a contract, they say be whoever. Yes.
Yes, just
Sure.
sign here.
Yes, I'll be whatever you need me to be. You know what I'm saying? But other than that, it's I'm not married to anything when it comes to, because just like everything, wrestling and your character should evolve. So if the character's getting stale or anything like that, then of course it's time to change. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I would.
Well, I was gonna say we've even seen that in your wrestling, so to speak. How you, when you were the champion, you were the Lord, and you had the code and the eyes and everything like that. And so yeah, you've evolved and changed depending on, I guess, the crowd base and what you're trying to do.
Yeah,
I was gonna say, I remember when I first saw you were player 1.
the blonde hair. No, I ain't got the best haircut right now. So but yeah, I really just do what makes me happy, honestly, like, because wrestling for me is still to this day, even 5 years in, like it's still an escape from a lot of stuff. Like, because it's like I say, it's in your wrestling career, the actual wrestling is only one. So every time I go out there, like I always want to give everybody their money's worth. You know what I'm saying? Like I want to entertain. I want to like make people mad. I want to make people happy. I want to disappoint people. I want to confuse people. Like I just want to play with people's emotions and like.
I was gonna say, and you're one of the best.
I was gonna say,
thank you.
Yeah.
And but no, like they just really like what I aim to do. So.
Yeah. Well, and you were also one of the first I realized that you caught on super quick where Pulver was. Like you caught that super fast of how to control the Addicts crowd and then where Pulver is. Cool, I want that shot.
Yeah.
Like before everyone knew where Pulver was or who Pulver was, you were like one of the first ones like, oh, he's right there, cool, I'm going to do a pose or I'm going to do a move. Like you always seem to look and find that camera.
Yes, sir. Yeah, because well, first of all, we was you trained to work the camera, like you know what I'm saying. So, but like but also if you got somebody there that's going to take some high quality pictures and they're right there at the front row and I'm going to walk past them,
right?
So.
Okay, so Chris Hicks asked, when are we going to get to see the Captain America gear at MPX again? We got a peek whenever you were whooping on Tommy before Ernie had to stop you guys to save it for Destiny, but haven't seen it in full match yet.
I was going to say,
going to see that.
Yeah, it's like when you came out in that Captain America shirt, I'm just looking at that going, that makes perfect sense.
Man, like that's just like a random workout shirt that I wear. That like I say, it's a compression shirt that like I wear, and I'm like, well, like I'm not really gonna do much, so I'm just gonna wear this out
and
there.
It matched the tights.
Yeah.
Cool.
Well, now you know that there's a fan base that would love to see you in that gear.
But actually, like that Captain America look is actually a very dope look. It actually especially since I do like. And so I definitely will probably make that look not thing that I do all the time, but I probably will whip it out just a little bit more.
You said that's a pay-per-view Big Show kind of thing.
Yeah. Yeah, you got to keep it special, like the demon stuff that Finn Balor does. You know what I'm saying? If he's the demon all the time, then
the demon ain't special.
He ain't special. You know what I'm saying? So yeah.
Which going back to video games a little bit, what's your favorite system of all time? And then, are you Sony or Microsoft?
That's a good
PC
question.
Master Race, motherfucker.
I don't like PC, so
Well, I'm gonna answer the second question first. I'm a gamer, first of all, so I'm going to play any system that's going to fulfill my needs or whatever. But right now, I currently own the Xbox because I don't really like to buy games. Games are just too expensive, and then I'm at that point to where I don't have enough time to play them all the time, and then I also get bored with games fast. So
True casual.
I mean, but this is after 20 plus years of gaming, and now I've never been this busy in my life. You know what I'm saying? So it's like now, well, I played the hell out of Tears of the Kingdoms, but you know what I'm saying? But yeah, but my favorite system of all time, man, it's. Oh man, it's hard.
So why is it the Dreamcast?
It can't be the Dreamcast. The reason I say it because I never owned the Dreamcast. My friend, we used to always just go to our friend house, but we own a PlayStation, we own a Nintendo 64.
So why is it the Atari?
But it's probably, if I had to choose, and this is probably gonna get some heat, it's probably gonna be the OG Xbox.
Okay.
Simply because from 2002 to maybe 2009, so actually it's gonna be Xbox 360. I'm sorry. It just started with the first Halo, right? The first Halo started, right? And then Halo 2, because Halo 2 was on the OG Xbox, right?
I think it's 360.
Yeah, I think that was 360.
Okay.
I think Halo 1 was the Xbox.
Was Halo 2?
was 360.
Halo 2 Halo 2, I believe, was a 360. Give me 2 seconds, I can fucking Google
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
gonna say I think Halo 2 is 360. Halo was original.
That's what I'm saying. So, because I know
So I
Halo
want to
3.
say it was a launch title for the 360.
I think so, yeah.
But I'm thinking it might have been Halo 3. Because I remember playing, because Halo 1 didn't have Xbox Live, but Halo 2 did, and that was when Xbox Live,
Yeah.
I think it was Halo. So I'm going with Xbox.
Yeah.
I'm going with Xbox, OG Xbox.
I mean, if nothing else, Game Pass makes it a whole lot easier.
Actually, on the original.
Yeah, so
Okay.
I thought so. So it's probably gonna be the OG Xbox because that's when I really realized that like I was like a real gamer
Yeah.
because
Halo 3 was a 360.
Okay.
yeah, it was because I remember in the summers because at my house we didn't have internet at the time, so I used to have to go to my cousin's house. So every time I would go to her house and I would play Halo from maybe like I wake up at like 7 in the morning to like 3 in the morning, and I wake up and do it again, and so I just had some of the most fun. I mean, I made a lot of friends at that time. We don't talk as much, but I was talking to them for maybe 10 to 15 years. You know what I'm saying? Just from us playing Halo then for so long together. So
Yeah.
it probably have to be the OG Xbox.
And that's the thing I remember, and that's why for me, like, it's probably N64 because I just remember all those late nights with my friends playing GoldenEye.
Also, you're old as shit.
Yes, I'm old
I
as shit.
remember GoldenEye.
But man,
I remember GoldenEye.
I remember those, and then bringing back like Halo and playing that all night, and then that was where we actually got to team up and beat other people. I was like, oh my god!
Did y'all used to play the game Jaws versus iJob?
Yes.
Okay.
We did that, and we also on Halo we would do zombies. Where one
Okay.
person's a sword.
Yep,
and
I remember that.
Oh,
Yep.
That was great. Rockets Only was one of my favorites.
Rockets only, snipers only, snipers
Fucking
only.
Big Head was
Get away with having an odd job in there without him being a dick.
Yeah, man. Yeah. So I have fun memories. I remember even on GoldenEye, it was at secret level, the last level, and we could never figure out how to beat that level.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until maybe we still didn't beat it, but I remember I YouTubed it maybe about 7 years ago. I was like, it was the Aztec level, and I was like, how? We thought it was just one of those things that the developers put in there just to mess with people because we could never figure it out. And then I still don't remember what the solution was, but I looked it up. Like, is this level beatable? And somebody shot. I said, that's it. So
See, and that's the thing. Like I like the question I asked. I always hate those. What's your favorite system? I'm like. Like for me, N64, because I remember with my friends being young. Xbox, I remember with my friends being young, so I like those two. But for me, I'm a Sony guy. I love PlayStation. And it's because I also, as I got older, I hate playing online against other people.
Yeah.
So it's like, no, I like the games to myself. Plus, I'm a huge God of War fan.
Oh, yeah, God of War, man.
Oh, yeah.
Spider-Man that's come
Spider-Man.
out. Like, it's like those are Sony exclusives. I'm like, I like Sony. And the controller, I don't know. I feel a lot better on a Sony.
do you remember the Spider-Mans on like the OG PlayStation?
Oh yes, Spider-Man.
Oh, yeah, no.
Spider-Man 2 was amazing.
Yeah, that was
I
really,
love
that was
game.
some, that was they were
Oh
great.
no! I remember the Spider-Man game that was like even before the movies.
Oh yeah, like
Yeah.
on Sega.
Yeah.
But no, it was like
Oh,
I used to
original
remember
PlayStation.
the Metrovania ones.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
the X-Men video game on Sega was great.
Oh yeah.
Oh, the one where you had to like very quickly tap the reset button at the
So you
very end of it.
Spawn a new character. Like every
Yeah.
time it spawns you a random character in the snow level.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's like, oh
Me over
man.
here, just happy with my Spyro the Dragon.
Young.
Yeah, I mean, like I say, Super Mario, man, grew up on that. Like I say, I've been playing games since I could remember, but I didn't just get addicted to games until like I was maybe like until Halo. Because I played the Final Fantasy games, and that's what kind of like made me start loving JRPGs. But the games that had me just playing 24/7 was Halo 1 and 2.
Yeah.
And
Bungie knew what they were doing.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then I went through my Call of Duty phase. And I still love Call of Duty, but my favorite Call of Duty of all time to this day is the OG World at War.
Yes.
On the 2006 one.
Yes.
Okay.
To me, that was a perfect Call of Duty game. It had the perfect amount of perks. It had the perfect size maps. It had solid gameplay. And man, I loved it.
I'm a Modern Warfare person.
I
so.
enjoy.
I'm a Modern Warfare person.
I like Modern Warfare I think it's either 2 or 3. It was the one. It was the one that had the one. It was like it's not kill confirmed, but it's one like it's like a VIP, and then you gotta chase him, and then you collect the score, and then he'll drop the tag. You gotta get it. You gotta defend him. That's the like I played that game the most.
They have that in Warzone.
Yeah.
They do?
Yeah, if you play, I think it's like an actual like contract that you can pick up.
Oh, the contract, the VIP,
It's awesome.
Yeah.
So much fun to do because then you can be on the opposite side of the map and be like, I'm gonna go.
Listen, Warzone, I want to get into it, but it's just so many places for people to hide.
Yeah.
Like, oh my gosh, like you'll be running for like 10 minutes and then you'll just get sniped by somebody in the smallest little crevice. I'm like, I'm never gonna find you, bro. So my battle royale of choice is Fortnite. So
Of course it is.
because they got no build, man. Once they put no build in Fortnite, it became the perfect battle royale game. I'm sorry.
Oh, come on. Like, honestly, Apex Legends.
Apex Legends is good, but I don't know, like, it just, like, Fortnite, like, because Fortnite gonna bite everybody's stuff, like unapologetically. And they gonna bite the best stuff, and they don't care, you know what I'm saying? And that's why they keep remaining the best game. Like, their creation suite is on point, like, the gameplay is solid, and then they are Unreal 4 or 5 now. They just upgraded to Unreal 5, so it runs buttery smooth or whatever. So...
All right, so Michael Cole is asking, while we're on the topic of games, what's the best zombie map?
Zombie map. So y'all gonna be disappointed. I wasn't a big zombie fan. I wasn't a big zombies fan. I like to go in there and I like to listen. This is gonna sound terrible, but I like to go in there and kill real people.
No, but I understand that because, like in Call of Duty, when they did zombies, I'm like, it's all right, but it's like, no, leave zombies for like Left 4 Dead.
Yeah,
like that's a game that it makes sense. Call of Duty, you're not. You're expecting war and real and stuff like that.
Yeah.
You're not expecting zombies.
Well, it's also it's like going up against bots. You know, back in the day of Quake Online and everything like that. It was still, it's like bots just don't have that same visceral feeling of it's like, there's somebody on that other monitor.
Okay, here's the thing though, is whatever the latest Call of Duty was, where they did the open map with the zombies, where you literally go from place to place to place and you can get hoarded.
Yeah.
Fucking fantastic.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
So much fun.
I do sound dope.
Because it's not, it doesn't limit you like Left 4 Dead does,
right.
but it also gives you that open world feel where you can be like, all right, I know I'm going to have to do something and a horde's going to come soon.
Yeah.
But I still have the chance to like wait until I can upgrade.
Yeah.
And then once you upgrade, like, yeah, you can upgrade to this phenomenal level, but
Exactly.
like still, you can have fun playing that shit.
Yeah.
We literally used to limit ourselves to pistols only.
Yeah.
And get to like levels 20s and 30s. And
Yeah. So, but I did play zombies mode. Like I love zombie mode in VR. Because I had an Oculus. I have an Oculus One, but it's because of Facebook, it's useless now. But
Gotta love Fortnite.
I was playing a game called Contractors, and they had a zombie mode. So, playing zombies in in VR, now that's a way better experience.
Yeah.
So I played that mode a lot, but I never got into zombies in Call of Duty, simply because I'm not a big zombie person. Like I like zombie movies, and when it comes to zombie games, Resident Evil would satisfy me when it comes to zombies.
So you didn't get into that huge zombie craze in the mid 2000s?
No, not really. I played enough for Dead games in college, but that's because that's what everybody was playing, and so it's like, well, everybody finna meet up and drink and.
all right, so you mentioned like zombie movies. Are you just like a fan of the horror genre, or is it just like?
I'm not a really horror fan. Like that. Like, I mean, let's just say it like this. I'm a fan of any movie that's good. Like if
Okay.
I find it entertaining, I'll watch it. You know what I'm saying? It
Yep.
can be, you know, it can be a rom-com.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? It can be a horror. It can be a country movie. It can be a silent film. If it's good,
Yeah.
It's good.
I'll watch
And
it.
that's how I am. I love movies.
but-
Literally, I'll watch anything.
See, that's why I always thought you'd work really great with Sebastian.
Yeah, but
Technically, he did.
Yeah.
yeah, but it just but not like but it one of my favorite horror franchise of all time. Yeah, I guess if this is horror, I guess it's Scream.
Yeah.
I love
It's
That's
a
fair.
Slasher.
yeah, like I'm a fan of slasher films.
Yeah.
Okay.
Slasher films are scarier to me because they're real. Like somebody can really dress up and do this. You know what I'm saying?
Like the Michael Myers,
Yeah.
the Jason.
But even that's not scary
But
to
yeah,
me because they're
they're
superhuman
supernatural,
and they keep
yeah.
coming back, right?
Right.
But like you know these Scream franchises,
They're
always a
copycat
copycat.
killers,
You know what I'm
yeah.
saying? And that happens all the
What
time.
was that one? What was that one? The Strangers.
Yes.
That's terrifying.
That was creepy.
Why did you?
Yeah.
I did watch that one.
So it's pretty much home invasion.
Oh
Yeah.
wow.
And yeah, so you're sitting there, you're creeped out. Like, it's one of those, it's a mental fuck because you literally see them in the background, but the person doesn't see them.
Yeah.
You're like, what the, and it's a
around.
home invasion. You're like, what the fuck? Like,
Yeah.
it just creeps you out.
Yeah. So,
Those
but
are always
yeah,
great.
I've never been a fan of like, you know, supernatural. Like, they always turn into comedies to me because I just don't believe none of that stuff is real. So it can't scare me because I
It's
know
like
it
Japanese
can,
horror
it can,
ghosts where they really believe in the spirit. You're like, meh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like now, like I be watching movies about like actors that I know is getting older about midlife crisis, and those are horror movies to me now. Cause like I'm like, man, like this is really it, bro. Like that's a horror movie to me. Like seeing movies of like when you actually think about it, like a lot of action movies are horror movies. Like
Yeah.
your kid get kidnapped. That's horror. I can't do what Liam Neeson is doing in this movie. So if my kid is gone, that's a scary like experience for me now. So
I was gonna say, it's like, yeah, you got kids, so that movie hits a lot closer to home.
yeah, like I guess it's my perception. So like if it's got like you know like the ring and stuff,
Right.
like I'm like you come out the TV, like I'm just gonna beat you up.
Oh, I don't fuck with demons, but I'll fuck you up.
Yeah.
Just mass exodus before she even gets out of the TV.
Exactly. This long nowhere. I'm
It's just-
not just gonna sit here for this interest. You know what I'm saying? Like.
He's just literally sitting there with the beer in his hand. The power of Christ compels you.
Just like,
Hunt.
Bitch, get out of my TV.
the Saw movies are scary. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, somebody kidnap you and just set up like a haunted house, but it's real. You know what I'm saying? Like,
You see, psychological horror.
yeah.
That's what always gets me.
So, do you have any other types of favorite movies, like comedies?
Oh, it's
Like-
definitely action. Like, man, I grew up loving like martial arts movies. Like, that's like Jackie Chan. And,
Favorite martial art movie right now?
oh man, you trying to put me on the spot?
Yes,
Yep.
right now. I need to know.
Man, I ain't gonna choose one,
was like, I
but
need to
I'm
know
gonna
before I
choose. I'm gonna choose a series. It's the Ip Man series with
yes.
I was
Johnny
wrong.
Yen.
That's
With Johnny
good,
Yen.
but I was gonna say Ong Bak because you do the elbow, and I'm like,
Well,
ah!
I love Bak because I do the Tony job, right? But no, it's Donnie Yen because like his like those four movies are great. You know, you got Mike Tyson in there or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Throwing hands with Donnie Yen. So I like that. And then now I've watched the first three John Wick movies, and then and that might be John Wick because you can't beat an action movie that's an hour and 50 minutes and an hour and 40 of it. It's just fighting. You know what I'm saying? It's just fighting. It's just him going level to level, just fighting people.
Which is very crazy.
It's
and
my
I feel,
favorite. It's my favorite gaming system.
Yeah.
watching John Wick movies.
Yeah.
Well, and that's the thing. It's crazy to me when you look at John Wick or look at Keanu Reeves. I think, and maybe it's just me, but I don't think people consider him an action star. I'm like, John Wick, Major. He has so many action movies.
Yeah,
like, how is he not considered like a Schwarzenegger or, you know,
he's a lot more
Stallone and
cerebral.
stuff
And
like
he's
that?
a martial artist, like he's a real life martial artist too.
Yeah.
But you can just look at the John Wick movies, just you can see his love for like martial arts and MMA. Like everybody was getting taken down with some kind of takedown. Like he kept getting people arm bars and
Right.
things like that.
So Chris Hicks asks, favorite John Wick film since you just mentioned the series.
It's about to be 3 for me.
3? Man.
Listen, I'm sorry. Like that dog scene with Halle Berry, man.
Okay.
That was-
No, yeah.
It was
The
just
dogs
one.
were the best
it was
part.
one of the most unique fighting scenes that they had.
Yeah.
Like, and
They actually showed how you would use dogs in combat.
and it just feel like I feel like it was also his like a love letter to like to like video games because
Right.
it felt very video gamey. Like it's like this dude like he'll just go see a doctor, then he'll get healed up, and then he back at it again. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Like he'll beat people up and somebody he get healed. You know what I'm saying? But it was just like he just go level to level.
And which I didn't get to play it, but I heard so many bad things about it. Did you ever get involved with the cyberpunk that Keanu Reeves did and stuff like that? Or?
Oh yeah, like I actually liked Cyberpunk. Like I played it when it was on. I played when it first dropped, and I actually bought Cyberpunk twice because that's how how much I liked it.
Okay.
Because I had it on my PS4, and then I played it. And it, like I said, it didn't run great, but I'm not like one of those people that nags it.
Okay.
It's the whole thing of this is why you don't
Well,
buy
see,
it when it comes out
Yeah,
first.
yeah.
Well, and it's weird. I figured with everything you are and everything we've talked about, and you, like you said, you want to make video games and develop and stuff like that, that you would be that type of person that
No.
if it's not right,
Because
you're like, no, this is wrong.
people are human, you know what I'm saying, and like. And like I know that the developers don't always have control over things
Yeah.
that happen.
I mean, hell, they came out and said that it's like we didn't want it released yet.
Yeah, so people rushed them, and then they give them a rush product, and people were upset because they got a rush product. So it's just one of those things to where like first of all, there's other games out there to play. So
Right.
and then now we live in a day and age to where they can patch it and update it, and they did. And so it's just one of those things. If you did buy, more than likely they're going to update it simply because people bought it. And so just be patient. They'll update it, and they did, and that runs great. So, but I love Cyberpunk. Like, I love Keanu's performance.
Johnny
in it.
Silverhand.
I feel like I didn't get to beat it still. It's just one of those things. I play it. I get about 20, 30 hours in.
Yeah.
Like, cause I bought it again on my Series S. I get about 20, 30 hours in, and then my ADD will kick in, and I want to play something else. And that's usually what end up happening with a lot of games.
I was gonna
like,
say, I'm real bad at that too.
some games are just too long now. Like I'm starting to prefer like just give me like an 8 to 12 hour focused experience.
Yeah.
Like I love it's John Wick-esque. It's called Midnight Fight Club or something like that. Midnight.
Oh yeah.
It's almost like that game that just came out on PlayStation. The martial arts game, Sifu. It's like that, but it's isometric or whatever. It's an isometric game. It's on Game Pass. I love it. Like it got. They say it has like over 200 or something like that. Like animations from this martial artist, and like it got the counters. It has the context. Like you'll counter, you'll slam his head. You can kick stuff. People can throw stuff, you can grab it, and it is pure John Wick.
Yeah.
You shoot guns, and then once it run out, you can use it as a weapon and throw it at. It's an amazing
It's a Superman thing.
Yeah.
I was gonna say,
It's
I
an amazing
remember, because again, PlayStation 2 was one of my favorites, and I remember Jet Li had a game, Rise On or something.
Yes.
It was very similar to that, where you did a lot of martial arts, and like if someone threw something, you could catch it.
Because it was Jet Li and John Woo.
Yeah, and it was really cool.
It was like OG Xbox.
Man, I gotta look that up.
Yeah.
I never knew he had a game.
Jet Li, Rise to Honor was really cool.
Yeah.
And then also, I was a huge fan of the Max Payne series
Oh,
because
man,
of the
yeah.
bullet time and everything.
And it did do the
So
bullet
great.
time stuff in that game.
But
Like I
there's-
said, and it just straight up just from point A to point B action. Now he got his breaks where he tell the stories about him losing his mind with his kids and stuff, and his addiction with painkillers and all that stuff. But that gunplay, man, like especially. Oh my goodness, bro.
See, and that's the thing. Like I'm kind of like you. Like there's some games I'll very rarely beat, even though I like them. It's just like, I put it away. Like all the Batmans, I always beat those. Like for some reason, I put Assassin's Creed.
Yeah.
There's like maybe 2 I've beaten, and all the others I've liked. But it's just like
I haven't played
I
any.
don't go back to it.
I haven't played any since 4, so
Yeah, I mean, I played the last two, not the last one, but like the Egyptian one and the
Greek.
Greek one, yeah.
Yeah.
And
Because I was gonna say Valhalla is the last one, which I'm
They're-
waiting till I get my PS5 and I'll be like, cool, that's when I'll get Valhalla. So
Yeah.
they're not great games, but it's like it's just run to that point. They're just too long.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like,
no, I can agree with that.
They're just too long, and like there's nothing bad about it because people that have the time loves it, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? But for me, it's just like I'm looking for those uncharted experiences.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? To where it's just 8 to 12 hours. You know what I'm saying? Of just
Give me something
tight
linear.
gameplay.
Well,
you know what I'm saying?
and like I was very shocked at myself. Like I didn't 100% complete it because I'm not that type of person.
I'm
With
not
Red Dead
100%.
Redemption,
Mm-hmm.
I actually played and finished that one all the way through. And I
crazy.
was very shocked because I was like, I normally quit beforehand, but
Yeah.
the story kind of engrossed me and stuff like that. Because again, I don't really 100% where it's like, oh, do this, do that.
Yeah, I
I don't
can't-
care about side missions. I want the full story.
Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
care about trophies or
Yeah,
achievements and everything.
exactly.
And like and with Red Dead Redemption, like I love it. It's an amazing game, but for me, it was especially at that time to where I was like, well, I need to stop playing games so much because it's gonna make me lose focus. It's just too simulated. Like
Yeah.
I'm like, bro, just hurry up and get on this horse, bro.
Like, I think
just hurry up and get on the horse, bro. I'm ready to go, man.
like out of all the GTAs, I think I've beaten maybe one of them.
Y'all beat
And
all
I've
the
played
GTAs.
all of them, but I think I've only beaten one of them.
Yeah, I beat all the GTAs.
Which one?
I think it was San Andreas. Is the
San
one
Andreas?
I completed.
For me, it was 5.
Yeah, I beat except the isometric ones or the top down ones, but all the 3D ones I beat all those.
Yeah.
3 Vice City, San Andreas, 4
Actually, it
and
might have
5.
been Vice City now that I think about it. But yeah, because
Yeah.
Vice City and San Andreas were my favorites. Like,
Yeah.
those are the ones I like. Because again, it also goes back to the PlayStation 2, PlayStation 3.
Yeah, right.
Like, those were like my favorites.
Do y'all remember the driver games?
Yes,
God,
Driver.
Yes.
Those were good
Drivers
games.
were cool. Oh, man. Those games
Chris
were
Hicks
great.
says, since you definitely will be signed by a larger company sooner rather than later, have you considered the fact that the final boss will one day be a video game character that kids will get to play as?
Oh yeah, like I always think about stuff like that, like my likeness as an action figure, like, or being in a video game. It's one of the things I think about a lot, because when you get into this business, like, I don't think most people don't really get into this business and don't think about those things, right? Like, being, action hero, or, having like your moniker transcend to another medium, you know what I'm saying? Because it's over or it's popular or it's good, you know what I'm saying? So I think about that all the time, like how maybe one day being a WWE game or an AEW game, or hopefully Impact can get them a game, or New Japan pretty much got them a game is Fire Pro Wrestling, which is also an amazing wrestling game that slept on.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I always think about this stuff all the time. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, going back to the wrestling, especially talking about the bigger ones, you have now been on Impact and you have been on AEW twice, once on Dark and once actually on the show.
Yes, sir.
How did that feel? Just be there and be in that, see the crowd out there.
It was definitely surreal. Growing up, you see it on TV, right? And then for me, before I started wrestling, I've been to maybe 4 or 5 events, like wrestling events, and they were all WWE. The first one I was 13 was a live event, and it was a live event, so it wasn't even like the full setup.
Yeah.
And then I went again when I was like 19 or 20, and then I went to Hell in a Cell when they came to Dallas, and then I went to WrestleMania when they came in 2016.
Yeah, the first one.
I think that was 2016.
Yeah, it's
Whenever
2016.
Whenever they came.
I was there too. It was.
Yep. I went to that one. So I always saw it on TV. So I've only experienced it on the other side, in the crowd, like a handful of times. So I've watched TNA, watched WCW, and so when I actually, you standing there and you have like all these eyes just on you, and it's just something that you just take in. It's like, man, like all these eyes are on me, like they are paying attention to what I'm finna do. You know what I'm saying? And so, no, it was definitely surreal because you never, I ain't gonna say, I can't speak with nobody else honestly, but for me, I never expected to see myself, you know, in the wrestling ring. You know what I'm saying? Let alone in the wrestling ring of one of the biggest companies, you know, in the world. You know what I'm saying? So,
how did doing that 1 minute promo in the middle of the ring feel?
That was actually going to be my next question.
it was dope. Like, it's just one of those things. Like, it was unexpected, and sometimes if somebody give you the ball, you just gotta like run with it. You know what I'm saying? And they just asked me, they were like, "Hey, how do you feel about cutting a promo?" And I was like,
Absolutely.
Okay, we're cutting a promo. Like, what do you want me to talk about?
Right.
They was like, just talking notes about Austin. Okay, that's easy. I talk notes about Austin.
Sucks in general.
I talk about Austin every day. Like,
that ain't hard.
and so,
So you want to shoot? Got it.
so it's just one of those things to where like that was surreal because I'm like, man, they don't never really give extra like the mic like that. You know what I'm saying? So, especially to just tell them they didn't give me nothing to say. They just said, hey, just talk about Austin and get some heat. And
Heal it up.
And I hope I can't find footage of it. Like I found one clip of it, and I can't re-find it. If that's a word, I can't find it again. Let me just say it like that. But I didn't want to share it because the audio was too muffled.
Yeah.
So shout out to the person that recorded it and sent me to it.
Right.
No disrespect, you know what I'm saying. I really appreciate they continue to do that for me, but but that's why I didn't share it because it wasn't understandable.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, because I was going to ask, it's like, okay, you said you did a promo, but you didn't say what the promo was. So you just went out there and just, cheap heat on Austin?
Yeah, pretty much just told them that they had low IQs, of course.
Just told them the truth.
Their admission into UT Austin was low. And their admission requirements. I was like the only thing that's lower than the food quality here is the admission standards for this lackluster university or something like that. And what did I say? I said, with that being said, the only thing that what were they? Longhorns?
It was a major moment.
I said the only thing the Longhorns are hooked on are phonics or something like that. And I mean, that's better than my first thought. Cause I was saying hooked on like some kind of drug, like something. That probably would have got me kicked out the building. But I said hooked on phonics, and then I thought that was gonna be my last line, but they said I had more time, and so I just kind of spitballed it from there.
Right? No, that's epic, actually.
So,
Livy asks, what are your opinions on hardcore and death matches?
It's just not for me.
but you did so well in the Oak Cliff street fight.
That was a street fight. But
It was technically hardcore.
I mean, I like hardcore matches. Like,
If it serves a purpose. And it
Like,
continues
I like-
the story.
no, I mean they're fun.
Yeah.
I like street fights and stuff like that. I like being able to be creative with like items and stuff like that. But the death matches is not for me. I don't want to do blood. I'm sorry. I don't want you bleeding on me. I don't want to bleed on you. I don't want to have an open wound. No, like I say,
COVID's still a thing, y'all.
it's not even COVID.
There's a lot of other things worse than COVID.
Oh, that's true. That's true.
Way worse though. But
And in a wrestling ring, you never know.
like I said, I'm definitely not knocking the guys that do that.
Right.
Much respect, because I can't do it. Right? You know what I'm saying? It's not a thing of like I can do it, but I won't do it. Like I literally can't do it. You know what I'm saying? So
You'll get hit with the light tube, start bleeding. You're like, I'm out.
There you go. I'm out.
But not like it's just not for me. And it's just like with all things, like everything's
You're also
not.
way too pretty
I'm ugly. But no, but I appreciate that. But no, it's just really because like I don't want to bleed on people. I don't want people bleeding on me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And, you know, that's just really it.
But with the hardcore and street fight aspect, if it's continuing a story and building to a big blow off, like you and Tatum, the Oak Cliff street fight, you're okay with it.
I mean, I do hardcore and street fights anytime because you know people don't necessarily expect blood from hardcore and street fights. They just expect weapons and anarchy, really. You know what I'm saying? But with deathmatch, if it's not really blood in it, then it's not.
If someone doesn't have skewers in their head, it's not
I can't have that. I don't want sharp items being jabbed at me like that. Like I said, I'm saying they some warriors, man. Because like like I just can't do it.
Well, and I think some impressed me. Like last time I was at Anarchy, Stevie Hendricks and Matt Locke did their hardcore deathmatch thing, and Stevie Hendricks impressed the fuck out of me because I didn't know how well he do. Because kind of the same thing. I'm like, it didn't really seem like Stevie's forte and stuff like that. And then when he went out there and he fucking killed it, I was like, holy shit, bro, that was amazing. I didn't know what to expect. You did awesome. He goes, yeah, I was like, fuck it, I'll just worry about it tomorrow. Yeah. And then of course, I'm sure tomorrow he's like, fuck this, never again.
I was like, that's your Jimmy's problem, not mine.
And then like you gotta understand, like I have a wife and children, like and then I have a civilian life, and I have a life outside of this. So like like I don't want to like it's just too much risk for me that's involved for that. For me, that's not worth it for me. You know what I'm saying? So it's not a knock on anybody who does it. I just want them to understand that this is not me trying to, bury nobody or bury hardcore that match because there's an audience. There's definitely an audience for it. There's definitely people who love it and enjoy it. And
it's not that. Like I've said time and time again, people like Sky and Dimitri, there is an art to it if it's done right.
Yeah.
And that's what I love. Like sometimes deathmatch tournaments, they're bloody just to be bloody, but sometimes they're built right and lead up to a climax. And that's the thing. If you get the right deathmatch wrestlers who can lay it out right and build it up, it's a fucking art.
Yeah. It's a.
Do you have any advice for new or up-and-coming wrestlers in the business to reach that AEW or higher status?
Higher than AEW.
I can't really speak on that, like really, because like I say, I'm not, technically I'm not there. Like I made appearances, like hundreds of other wrestlers have made appearances. You know what I'm saying? But just for general advice for wrestlers coming up in the business in general, it's just to be consistent and work hard. That's just really it. Like find what works for you. Be yourself. If you're not being yourself, if you feel like you can play or be somebody else better than being yourself, then do that. It's just one of those things to where fans see it, fans know, and they're gonna react to it. You know what I'm saying? So just be consistent. Be honest with yourself. Be honest with yourself. Work on the things that you lack. You know what I'm saying? And if you can't get it, then don't do it. You know what I'm saying? But just keep working hard. Be consistent. Like I say, 99% of wrestling is not actually wrestling. So it's the 99% that's going to get you really where you want to be, where people will even want to see that 1%.
So Chris asks, as someone who eats ice cream every day and still is the best looking guy in the ring, what's your go-to flavor and what's one you would save for a special occasion?
Well, I'm always gonna eat homemade vanilla, Bluebell homemade vanilla.
Hell yeah!
Simply because for once, the one thing that I realized that every other flavor that Bluebell makes is better just to make it yourself with homemade vanilla, right?
Okay.
So if you want cookies and cream, it's better just eat it with Oreos. Homemade vanilla and Oreos. If you want like chocolate, just get you some chocolate candy, melt it or some syrup and mix it up and It's gonna taste better than the chocolate. You know what I'm saying? You want some strawberries in it? Just get some strawberries and put them in homemade vanilla. It's gonna taste better than the strawberry. Like that's just how I feel about it. But now, like I don't have, my go-to flavor is always gonna be vanilla, and I say vanilla for a special occasion.
Actually, what's hilarious is the fact that people talk about vanilla being basic, being simple and everything like that. That is like one of the most expensive flavors you can make.
Yeah.
Because vanilla itself is so hard to grow.
And then
that, and it's like the basis for most of the flavors, like you said, cookies and cream. Yeah, it's vanilla based.
Yeah.
And like I say, sometimes the additives can take away from the pureness of how amazing vanilla is, the vanilla bluebell tastes.
That is something you did speak about recently on a post a week or 2 weeks ago. The fad diets and stuff like that, and you being a personal trainer and stuff like that.
Yes, sir.
So what is your, I guess, actual belief and thought process on diets or keto or doing this or doing that? Because like I think you even said, you're like, I eat whatever I want. So what is the actual math of it, so to speak, I guess?
It's just on the basis, yes ma'am. It's on the basis of it, it's just calories in, calories out for the most part.
Okay.
I'm always gonna watch my calorie count. I'm always gonna eat in a deficit, and I'm always gonna eat high protein, and I'm always gonna eat carbs to give me the energy that I need to get through the day and get through my workouts. Fad diets are bad because most fad diets is going to tell you to restrict a macronutrient that your body needs. Sometimes those macronutrients will have micronutrients that you need. For example, you know what I'm saying? Like, to me, the keto diet is one of the worst diets that you can never go on. But carbs are not necessarily bad. It's just anything you do in excess is bad. Right. For example, people have drowned from drinking too much water. So
you can get water poisoning.
There you go.
Yeah.
So, but yeah.
So Michael Cole asks, what is your thought on Dr. Pepper's Bluebell ice cream?
It was real good, but it just goes back to the original point.
Just go make a Dr. Pepper float.
If you get a Dr. Pepper and homemade vanilla, it tastes better than the Dr. Pepper float.
Yeah. It does.
So
it does.
It's not the fact that the Dr. Pepper float blueberry ice cream is nasty. It's a very good ice cream. Yeah. But homemade vanilla and Dr. Pepper is going to like blow it out of the water.
Legitimately, I said the exact same thing. I was like, when we first tried it, I was like, this just tastes like the top. Whenever you make yourself like a Dr. Pepper float and you just eat the little foam at the top,
that's
what it tastes like.
It's good.
It's good, but it's not what I wanted. Eating a Dr. Pepper.
I'm thinking it was just, I was literally thinking it was going to be homemade vanilla and Dr. Pepper mixed. And then re-froze. That's what I thought it was going to be. And I wasn't disappointed. Like, I liked it, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. And I thought it was good. But I'm like, I wouldn't buy it again. I wouldn't wait for it again because I literally have it all the time.
Just make that at home.
Wait. I gotta ask. Root beer float or Dr. Pepper float?
Man, it's always gonna be root beer, man.
No!
Secondary. A&W.
A&W.
Oh,
yeah. Finish.
No one likes Barks. No one likes root beer in general. But no one likes Barks.
I love root beer. I love Bar's root. I like Bar's root beer, but A&W is always creamier tasting to me.
I agree.
See, that's why I don't like it as a float.
Yeah.
Barks root beer has that root beer taste. That sass.
I gotta
sassafras taste, and I fucking love that.
Sarsaparilla. That's what I was thinking too.
I gotta try. I gotta try it. I gotta try with Bar's now.
Okay, no, see, hands down my favorite type of root beer. If you don't have Barks root beer, I don't want it.
Barks root beer, I drink it mainly because it's got caffeine.
Yes.
I know that.
And that's an addiction. But it's like, it's like people who don't realize it's like there are different levels of root beer and everything. And it's like,
mug should not exist.
as I was going to say, there are people who actually drink mug. I don't get it, but they drink mug.
It tastes like root water.
Thank you.
That's what's left at the bottom of the barrel.
I am,
Just
but
give
like,
yourself an RC Cola, you fuck.
I won't drink it now simply because like I'm pretty sure they don't have no zero sugar, and that's another reason why I stick to A and W because they zero sugar.
Right.
Yeah,
like
that's true.
tastes almost. I say it's like 98%.
I'm pretty sure they
identical.
make a zero sugar Berg's root beer, but just it's not available
They do
here.
not. Trust me, I've looked.
Like online and everything.
Yes.
Oh
Nah,
wow,
like I said, 'cause
that's surprising.
I definitely live on zero sugar sodas. Like,
Yeah.
and that's another thing. You know, it's just a lot of things that we don't realize that we kind of overconsume.
Right.
It's very easy to overconsume too.
I've
you know what I'm
realized
saying? But like, you just gotta find the tricks.
There's one in the very back.
You just gotta
I
find.
know what you're looking for.
You just gotta find like the tricks, you know what I'm saying, to make your diet work for you because no hardcore diet is sustainable. Like if you just eating like purely like chicken, broccoli, and rice, you're not gonna be able to do that forever.
Yeah.
If you're not seasoning your food, you're not gonna be able to do that forever. So what you gotta do really is you gotta find balance and moderation.
Yeah, I'm seeing this hard 75 fad going across a bunch of people on my Facebook. I'm like, why?
Which, and going back a little bit, because we're talking about ice cream and Bluebell and stuff like that, and obviously you're a Bluebell fan. How did the Bluebell famine affect you in 2019?
Oh God!
Oh man!
Bringing up the hard times.
Yeah, they were. And then we had
Listen.
COVID.
And then we had this chick licking ice cream. Licking Bluebell, like saying the name even more. That's probably where the listeria came from.
Yeah, it's like I remember the listeria scare of 2012.
Listen,
or 13.
honestly, I was like, just send it to me.
I'll survive.
If I die,
I'll take that
die.
risk. I'll take that risk.
Let's see.
Oh, actually, we did have something come in from Mr. Lindsay. What up and comer would you be excited to have a match with? That's with any.
I mean, I've had matches with most of them. I'm trying to think, because I don't really think about this stuff like like
He's on his own cloud. He's trying to book himself.
no, like sometimes you just gotta like not think about wrestling because it can be frustrating at times. You know what I'm saying? But
You mean people actually do that?
I I've worked with Stevie before, but I wanted like a one-on-one with Stevie.
Yeah.
But I can't really. I can't say I'm an up and comer too. So I'm not trying to make it seem like these people I'm naming are like I'm on a higher level than them. I don't feel like this, so that's how I kind of feel weird answering that question. But like I say, but somebody that I've never had a one-on-one with is like Stevie Hendricks. I love to have a one-on-one with him. I'm trying to think. I was simply because I don't like wrestling kids. So once he turns 18, I like to go with Dalton. I like to wrestle Dalton. Once he turns 18,
I knew exactly who you were meaning.
I just don't like to wrestle kids. You know what I'm saying?
Hold up, let me text him so he knows that you just shouted out. Because he's about to shit bricks.
Talking about a little bit, because you kind of spoke on a little bit how you don't feel like that you're better than others. What is it like when you're training though? Because like you have a training class and everything, and you're trying to help people and stuff like that, but you also, like you just said, you're like, I don't really feel like I'm better than people, but here you are leading the training class.
Yeah. When I say it like that, like like when it comes to like knowing wrestling and like stuff like that, like I know it. I feel like I do know it well enough to I can be able to pass on my knowledge, especially to people who are like starting out their training or
Right.
or in their first 2 to 3 years of wrestling. So like I said, I do feel like I have knowledge enough, especially when it comes to the basics of like performing in the ring,
Right.
and even when it comes to like a knowledge of like how the business works. So you have to present yourself as a leader because that's how people are going to respect you, right? But I never want to make people feel like I'm above them or like we're still not peers. You know what I'm saying? I'm just a peer, just passing on knowledge to my peers. That's all that it is, really.
When when you have a title in a promotion, like when you were the MPX champion, or when
You
you're
got two of them.
the WAW or the King of Sports Grappler title.
There we go.
When you have a title like that, do you feel a leadership responsibility to be a locker room leader, or are you kind of just, it's a prop, they gave it to me, cool, whatever?
I mean, somewhat, because like even when you're the champion, you're still like sometimes not as tenured as people that are working for the promotion. So I always try to be, I'm always gonna be a follower to those that are, who careers are ahead of mine or who has more tenure. But I'm always gonna also be that leader to those who are, newer and things like that. So I just pretty much get in where I fit in. Like I said, I don't feel like I'm better than anyone because I'm a champion. I just feel like I'm being rewarded for the hard work that I put in. And yeah, I take
Employee of the month.
yeah. And it's also because I feel like they see value in me. You know what I'm saying? So I also look at it like that, but it's just one of those things where, like, they say the title don't make the man make the title. So it's, I don't want to like feel like, oh, I'm the champion, so it's nothing like that. Yes, ma'am.
How do you feel about the comparisons between your younger self and Kane Carter?
Sorry.
That's mostly him.
This is my first time hearing that.
I have
I
said
was
that a
like,
couple.
plead the fifth if you'd like to.
I've said that a couple times because I've said give King Carter another year or two, and he's where Exodus is now. Like when I watch King Carter, I'm just like, man, he's got it. He just needs these couple more things. He needs a little bit more exposure. He needs a little bit more promotion and ring time, and then he's fucking got it. Like you're one of those. Like there's several people, me and him both have said in Texas that were like, why are they not signed? You, Barrett, Dimitri. There's a lot of people who are like, these guys are there. There's everything they're doing is perfect as far as what they do in the ring, outside the ring, charisma, just presence. Everything is there. And Kane Carter's one of those younger guys that I see that I, like every time I'm saying, I'm like, man, a year or two, he's going to be where Exodus is right now. So a lot of those comparisons are probably because of me. Sorry, but it's one of those where I do feel that like he's got a lot. And potential and stuff. And
I think Kane is a phenomenal wrestler, a phenomenal person too. You gotta say, like, I mean, like it's always, good to be compared to somebody else that's like, that you feel that is pretty good. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, it's just always good. So, like I say, no, there's no ill feeling about it. Like, there's no joyous feeling about it. It's just one of those things. Like, well, that's cool. I'm just really just trying to see the comparison.
Right.
See where it's.
Well, and it's one of those, I guess, kind of look like you and Kari are always going to be compared because of the tag team and coming up and stuff like that. So
The sword.
No comparison now.
Yeah.
No comparison. Two
Yes, ma'am.
completely different wrestlers.
Yep.
Would you rather be at the top of wrestling or music?
Honestly, both. At this point, like, it just, I can't say wrestling has a shelf life because I'm seeing some older people that are like still going, and like that's very motivating to see because I would love to wrestle forever, but honestly, I'd rather be both because music is a passion of mine too because I love expressing myself musically. And it is a different way of expressing myself than wrestling does. But it's like, why not both, right? Like it would be cool to be like The Rock or John Cena music type thing. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know.
So Remy asks.
Remedy.
Remy. What keeps your passion going? So you just mentioned like there are older people. What's going to keep you going?
Really, I got into wrestling really because I wanted to see if I could do it right. But then it became one of these things where it changed me as a person. Like personally, it made me want to work harder like on things outside of wrestling. It made me it made me realize that I wasn't worthless like I thought I was, right? And so what keeps me going is knowing that I'm creating like a legacy for like my kids. I want to be able to not only be, remembered in time, right? But I also want my kids to have something to say, my dad took a chance on himself and he did this. I can do that too. You know what I'm saying? Because growing up, I've always told like, oh, you just got to do this. This is the only thing you can do. You only can be this. You only can be that. Yeah. And so the fact that, with wrestling, I'm proving a lot of people wrong. Not proving them wrong. Like they didn't think of this about me because of any ill will, and this is what maturity is teaching me. It was because of the things that I showed them when I was younger. Right. And so I'm proving them wrong, not in the way to say, oh, in your face. It's just one of those things that I'm proving to not only myself, they're like, well, I'm not what you thought I was. You know what I'm saying? I'm not what I thought I was. And so that's what keeps me going.
And touch on a little bit on that, talk about how you're keeping your wrestling passion going. Earlier you talked about with music, how you kind of get tunnel vision, you'll do it 2 weeks and kind of quit. Do you ever feel that way with wrestling, or is it a constant drive to go?
It's always a constant drive. Like, this is literally my mindset with wrestling. Okay. This is how I go every week. I'm excited to wrestle by Wednesday. Thursday, I'm super excited. The weekend, let's just say if I got 2 or 3 matches. The weekend, depending on where I'm going, I'll wrestle. Yes. Second match, oh my God. Third match, oh, I'm ready for this, bro.
By Monday, you're ready to quit.
Monday, bro, like, I don't ever want to do this again. Tuesday, oh man, I'm missing wrestling. Then Wednesday, oh, I'm ready to wrestle again. That's literally me every week. Like, it never changes. So, it's kind of hard to stay. It's not. I'm gonna say it's hard because it just depends on the day. Like by Wednesday or Thursday, I'm ready to wrestle again. Like, but by Saturday, Sunday, I'm over it. Because it's that 99% that I'm talking about. It's the traveling, the waiting.
Everything else is dragging on you.
Do you still get butterflies every time you get to the curtain?
It just depends. It depends on the match and the opponent and where I'm working at. Like, if I'm working somewhere new and I'm working somebody I never worked, now I probably have a little bit of butterflies. You know what I'm saying?
Because anything could happen.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Anything can happen with anybody, but it's just that comfortable feeling, right? Like if I'm wrestling Kyrie for the 30th time, the NPX, no. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Talking about newer things and stuff like that, being at Inspire and this new tag team you've got with Stephen Wolf, who I think is phenomenal, kind of underrated. How is that like with the sorority complex that y'all are doing and stuff like that? Man,
like I love like what they're doing with us over there because we kind of had this storyline to where we started out like, in this best of like, what was it, like a best of 3 series. Right. That, if I'm not mistaken, went to a draw. Then we kind of end up getting like a title shot in a triple threat match with T-Ray. Yep. And then we had the thing to we showed like, oh, we could probably be a cool. And then we started out by being forced with each other. We kind of did the whole Daniel Bryan Kane gimmick almost, you know what I'm saying? To where it was just like, I'm a heel, he's a face. Yeah. I hate him, he hate me. But then we just kind of like slowly become friends. Like, and so... Yes, ma'am.
Jeremy asks, who's the one person in Texas you wanted to wrestle that you haven't or is not wrestling anymore?
Is it in Texas?
Yes. In Texas, yes. Specifically called out Texas.
Yeah.
I think he might be suggesting something.
The one person in Texas you haven't wrestled. Or someone who is not wrestling anymore.
The answer is Remedy, and this is the Remedy that I'm thinking about. I already wrestled you.
I thought y'all crossed paths, though.
Yeah, I already wrestled you, but...
I was like, hold up.
That's what he was doing, but...
what it sounds like.
He's forgetting which mat he pulled the gun on.
But,
he's like, you're from Oak Cliff?
Right now it's been Terrell Tempo.
Wow.
Because every time we see each other, we had us come say like, I mean, we got to do it. Like, all right, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? So it's been Terrell for a while, especially just somebody based out of Texas because a lot of Texas-based wrestlers. I've kind of been working all of them. You know what I'm saying? So it's not really that many that I haven't really like wrestled at this point.
I think that'd be a sick match, you and Terrell.
Yes.
Yes, man.
Yeah.
Him and Tim
And
would be
you've
great.
wrestled T-Ray before, yeah?
Yeah, I
Yes.
I just wrestled T-Ray. When I tagged with T-Ray, I tagged with him Saturday, then we tagged against each other Sunday.
Yep.
Wrestling, right?
Multiverse is weird.
Different cities.
I
That's
won
fine.
this bad baby from T-Ray. You know what I'm saying?
And what tell me, I'm sorry, just in case we can't see it on the screen, what belt is that?
That is the WAW Championship. Waco Association Wrestling, I think it is.
What the fuck?
What the hell?
You just broke it.
I didn't break it.
No, I think it was already like
Yeah,
that.
see?
I think it was.
Not
but-
my fault.
What
But,
about-
but,
what about
but
the
we,
other
we
belt?
have people to repair it. You know what I'm saying? Oh, the other belt is the King of Sports Grapplers Championship. I love the championship because the rules are. It's almost similar to almost the pure rules in ROH. So and I'm actually gonna be defending this bad baby against Nate Collins.
Nice.
In a rematch that we just had in the last King of Sports show. It's gonna be at the Lone Star Wrestling Show on the 21st, I believe, at the MPX events.
Yes.
That's in
Lone Star
that's in
Pro.
July.
Yeah, July
Yes.
21st, I believe.
Okay.
The newly owned DeMarcus Rose Lone Star.
Yeah.
So Chris has asked, what's a storyline or a matchup that didn't come to pass for whatever reason that you wish you could have happened?
I don't know, most of the storylines haven't most of the storylines that's supposed to happen have happened for the most part. But I am kind of even though we have it would have been our third match. I did want to have that Brian Keith match at Inspire when they started back, but I ain't gonna say unfortunately, but fortunately, just coincidentally, my daughter was being born. When my wife went into labor, that either the day before or that morning.
But you know, actually, I think I was there for
Yeah,
that
we were
show.
there. It
Yeah.
was the day
Yeah,
before.
Yep, and I had to go ahead and I had to go ahead. I was trying to make it. I was like,
We're family.
I was like, is she? Are you sure she gonna pop it out tonight? 'Cause I'm coming.
That's the wrestler. That's the wrestler.
Because I'm coming back.
I'll be back. It's all.
That's that roadie in him.
And I want to have that match because, like I said, it was like our first match that we had. 'Cause we wrestled twice back to back in 2020 during the pandemic. It was one at the New Texas. It was I can't remember what it was. I can't remember what it was called, but they just did that event at MPX MPX.
It's not the Contender Series.
It wasn't. It was something like it
the
was.
Texas Grand Prix.
Yeah, I was gonna say it was
Okay.
the precursor to
Yeah,
that.
it was that, and then we wrestled the next day at Martinez Entertainment.
Yeah.
And that's when I was super duper not really working. I was working consistently, but I didn't think at that time I had unlocked wrestling, if that makes sense. So I was just excited for the match, but we ended up doing it again at VIP, and it was phenomenal.
Yep.
Wait, I actually have two questions.
Yes, ma'am.
Let me start with because you did this as an unlock wrestling. What would you consider would be the ideal of what it means to unlock wrestling?
I'll say it one more time.
What would you say is the ideal that means you unlocked wrestling? Like, a lot of people would be like, oh, it's when you consistently do 5-star matches, or when you understand what psychology is. What would you say means unlocking wrestling?
It's just kind of understanding what wrestling really is.
To you or in general?
It's just in general, psychology, right? You know what I'm saying? We can do moves to each other, but if we don't build the moves or it doesn't make sense, or if it doesn't make sense, then it's you know what I'm saying? And then it's just kind of all of those aspects that come into it. It just kind of one day, I was thinking about how to approach a match with somebody, and then it was oh, like that's literally what it was.
It's that light bulb moment that everyone talks about.
And because like I'm just trying not to dive too deep into like. But it's just one of those things where I'm thinking about how I want to put this together, and it just said, you know what, this is what's going to make me be able to remember whatever I want to do. You know what I'm saying? And it just goes into a lot of the smaller things that's often overlooked and overshadowed because in favor of the moves. You know what I'm saying? So
And what's gonna look good?
Good, just in this one moment, but not the what's gonna dress it up and then how it's gonna affect you afterwards. Those type of things, and what's gonna lead. This probably gonna make you do something later. You know what I'm saying? So, and I just literally when. It's gonna sound crazy. I start composing it just like I compose music. It's just that's really what it is. So if that makes sense,
No, it totally does.
Trust me, the people who understand that sort of thing, it definitely makes sense.
So it just okay. So you got another question.
So the second part of that technically isn't my question, but it's from Remy, and it's what's next.
Of course, man. Let's get that contract, man. Like, of course, like if and this is no disrespect to no other promotion, you know what I'm saying? Because I would love to be signed to any promotion, but if I had to pick of the litter, I would choose New Japan.
Wow.
I would choose New Japan. New Japan made me fall in love with wrestling again. I'm not saying that other wrestling would, because I grew up just straight WWE. I didn't even know about indie wrestling. I didn't know about ROH, all this other stuff. I didn't even know about New Japan until 2017. Yeah. Like I'm not like I didn't know about none of this stuff. I just knew strictly WWE. But it was the Kenny Omega Okada one that because I stopped watching WWE. I stopped watching wrestling for like a year. Like I would just read dirt sheets and just keep up with results. Like, oh, that's interesting. Then I may watch a big match that got like good. And that's why I watched the Kenny Omega Okada match.
Like a pay-per-view.
Yeah.
Catch the highlights.
Yeah, I just catch the highlights.
Yeah.
But it was the Kenny Omega Okada match, and I was following this one website it was called Wrestling. No, it was actually Dave Meltzer and them stuff. I was real big into that, and they were just talking about Kenny Omega Okada when I was at work, and I was like, man, and I start reading comments. I'm like, man, I was like, nah. So I watched it, and like I guess I was I didn't know about the indie style or this style. I just knew WWE wrestling.
Was this when you were already wrestling?
No, it was a year I started wrestling, but it was because it happened in January of that year, and so I watched it like a week later. I did okay. I watched like a week later, and I honestly think that's when I saw that match because I didn't know people in Japan wrestle. And so when I saw I saw Naito coming out looking like a Final Fantasy boss, and I'm seeing like all these, I'm like, bro, this is
Bro, he comes out with the
it was somebody came out with like a big staff. I'm like, bro, what is this? Like I was
Yoshihashi.
I was blown away because I never knew, and so it kind of like man, like this is legit. Then I watched the match, and I was like, bro, what is this? Like I couldn't, you watch, especially back then, you could watch WWE so long you could predict the matches. Like, oh, this is gonna happen, this is gonna happen. Like I'm like, all right. At first I couldn't predict it because I know they moves right, and then secondly, like just the way they do matches, I was like, what is that? Like I was just like,
it's so different.
It was crazy. So then I started following New Japan heavily. And then, so it was just, because I knew about Impact, I knew about TNA and all that, I knew about WCW, you know what I'm saying? And like, this was when I was a fan. I was a fan.
No judgment.
But when I was like in high school, like I used to only watch like TNA just to like shit on it, like because I was mad that Kurt Angle left WWE to go to TNA. I was mad because he left. Like,
So
why did y'all left? Okay, cool.
You're one of those that hates Cena to hate him.
No, I love Cena.
No, but I'm saying like you hate the TNA.
I hated TNA just like I was like AJ Styles. I was like, who is this guy? Like I was like literally like the biggest like TNA hater. Like I was the people that I hate now.
Okay,
That's why you hate him so much. You grew past it.
Yeah,
like,
that's
what is
why. Like I was like, oh my god.
So you mentioned that you didn't know about Japan and their love of wrestling. So have you started watching or you love watching any of the like lucha stuff coming out of?
I like lucha. Like, listen, like I love the athletic stuff that luchadors do. It is respectful, but like it's just another one of those things. Like with death matches, wrestling is not for me.
Yeah.
Like I've trained in lucha. Like I trained lucha, and then like that's where I had the bulk of my earlier career matches was doing lucha matches. So it's always gonna be it's always gonna be a immense respect for lucha wrestling and the things that they do, but it just just like with death matches, that style is just not for me. Because for one, I can't flip like that. You know what I'm saying? Like I can't do that. And for two, my cardio is good, but it's not good like that. So and so, but like I will say. I'm always happy when wrestling is expanding. You know what I'm saying? Like how Japan is starting to get a little bit more popular in America. Lucha wrestling is starting to get more mainstream, like in WWE and AEW, and that's phenomenal because, like I say, all styles, everybody deserve a chance or whatever. And then when you mix those styles, everybody learns, everybody grows, and all the styles evolve.
I feel like we've missed a lot of really good luchadors that have come in the past 10 years though.
Yeah.
Like just especially stars that have already been in the WWE.
Yeah.
Like 15 years even. Like,
Yeah.
that have been in the WWE that have gone there to show their skill set and haven't been able to blossom out of anything.
Yeah.
So they end up going back to CMLL
Fucking Mystico was amazing. Goes to WWE Sin Cara, not that great.
Yeah.
The big guy now, Vicino. Been amazing for years, just now kind of getting the spotlight. But going back a little bit, because you were talking about, didn't really watch Japan and stuff like that. Have you gone and watched like older 90s and 80s stuff and studied? Or is it a little more newer stuff?
I watched like some I watched like earlier Tanahashi stuff. I watched a lot of earlier Naito stuff.
Yeah.
I watched pretty much all the Kenny Omega stuff.
The
I watched.
9-year-old.
I watched most of Will Ospreay stuff.
Yeah.
Like I said, because but I don't. I say it sounds crazy, but I don't watch wrestling at all really as much. Like I watched The Forbidden Door. You know what I'm saying? I watched it but I'm still at that point to where I like to get inspiration from things outside of wrestling.
So you're not like a huge tape study person and stuff.
No,
like
I study myself, like to see. Okay, they look dumb. That's ugly. I can do that better. Stuff like that. But I just mainly try to get influences from other aspects, like from action movies or or music or whatever I can to try to be as unique and different as I can.
Wait, so you said that you watch yourself. As somebody who, when they would watch themselves, were more
overly critical.
Yeah, were overly critical in some people's eyes, rather than actually being able to watch the story. What would you say to people who have that sort of not defect, but that's the only word that I can come up with. Like just having a hard time being able to separate the actual story from what it is that they're trying to incorporate. Like
yeah, I feel what you're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you gotta watch it first off from a third person perspective. Like
fans,
like when I'm watching myself, I'm not watching. Like I'm watching it with two minds. like I said, I'm watching it from what a fan sees, and I'm watching it from like what I see personally. Like, like we don't always see. Like, we don't see ourselves like how everybody else sees us. You know what I'm saying? We see ourselves in glimpses, all right? So, first of all, you know, when you first start watching yourself, just like when you first hear your voice on a recording, right? It's like, oh, I sound like that, or why do I do that little movement like that? It just things like that. So where I just watch myself to see the things that I don't ever see. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know how a pose may look from the back until I see it from the back. Yeah, so I see it. And so I might think it look good, then I see it from, oh my God, it's just stupid. You know what I'm saying? Or things like that. So you just gotta watch it as, you gotta watch it honestly. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you do something that, you know, that looks ugly or doesn't look good, you gotta say it's ugly, look good, and then go work on it. You know what I'm saying? Like,
so just so I can kind of simplify it, would you say look at it less from like an 8-bit perspective and more of like an overall perspective? Like, yeah, because that was something that I really struggled with during my career. Was I was critiquing every little thing. Why did I take that step? Why did I twitch that way? Why was I throwing my arm this way? And it's stuff that you can't necessarily help. Yeah. But those are the kind of things that I felt, looking back on my career now, drug me down. Yeah.
No, like, because the thing about, like, if it's constructive criticism, like, don't put yourself down just to put yourself down, right? You know what I'm saying? It's not one of those things like, oh, I can't do nothing right, you know what I'm saying? Or, you know what I'm saying? Like, celebrate the things that you do. Oh, man, like, that move looked great, you know what I'm saying? Man, that transition was smooth, you know what I'm saying? Like, always motivate yourself, but then at the same time, well, the move I gave or the way I took that move was ugly, even though the transition was smooth. How can I not make that better? Or if it's something to where there's a miscommunication, you got to ask yourself. It's not always, well, you didn't hear me, you didn't listen. Like, it's sometimes like, well, how can I communicate this better? Or simple to where next time they will be able to hear me. You know what I'm saying? So you always got to ask yourself, what, not only you see it, but ask yourself, what can I do to prevent that from happening?
Well, yeah, because you even had talked about it before, like when you were talking about posing and stuff. You used to do your little pose, but it was like more quick, and now you've like slowed it and you've timed it and you've built it up, and that was something you just kind of witnessed and watched over. Yeah. You're like, you know what, this would look cooler if I waited a little bit, timed it with the music, timed it with the ring announcer, and then do it. Yeah. So yeah.
So Mr. Lindsay says, from an athletic and ring performance standpoint, what is your best match at NPX?
Man, I love me versus Tommy Dean 1. Yes. I watch that match probably like 2 or 3 times a year.
Literally the most recent match that you have with Kari, I have that on my fucking saved playlist.
Yeah.
Like, I love watching that fucking
match. I like every match that I have with Kari is the first match that we had like at ETCW like in 2018 was really good. So me and Kyrie are always, because we train together, we know each other, we think similarly a lot in the way that we like to wrestle, but we are drastically, I feel like we're double dragons, like Ken and Ryu type thing. You know what I'm saying? Like, the same but different. You know what I'm saying?
Who would you say? Because you have a lot of great rivals like Dean, like Kari, like Tatum. Who is there when you just get in the ring and your opponent, whoever it is, you're like, this is going to be amazing. Like, you have the best chemistry with.
Man, it's hard because like I have all those people you name, I have amazing chemistry, and it just depends on the night. You know what I'm saying? Like, if I'm being honest, like
did you have Taco Bell that night?
Yeah, like, it's just one of those things. Like, it just depends on the night. Because like I said, I might not be having a good night that night. You know what I'm saying? Or my opponent might not be having a good night that night. Like, it could be dealing with personal things or things like that. So, but when it comes to chemistry, like I have good relationships with all those guys, and we all love wrestling. So when we get in there, it's just kind of like, just like a yeah.
So you mentioned having like bad nights. Speaking of that internally, like how do you handle those bad nights and still go out there to put on 4 or 5 star matches?
You got to separate yourself, right? You like first of all, like fans paid to see this, right? Promoter paid me. You know what I'm saying? I'm a business. I gotta fulfill a role. Like if I'm if I'm not gonna do my best, I just need the counsel, right? And so and then it's on top of this like, well, you know, for 10 to 15 minutes. I'm not even Miguel, you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
So once the music hit and I hit the curtain, that stuff is out the window, you know what I'm saying? So I don't think about it. I'm exiting then. You know, cool off, then everything, drilling words out, you start back thinking about things. So it's one of those things to where it's kind of like, you know, we always go to work and put on the face, you know what I'm saying, or go around our friends, put on the face when we're going through stuff. Same thing, and we have to do that 8, 12 hours a day, 5 days a week. So it's kind of easier, you know, we're used to doing that doing that every day. It's kind of easier to do that for, 10 to 15 minutes, you know what I'm saying? So.
And you had talked about a little bit how you would really like to go to the New Japan and stuff like that, or say AEW or WWE, NXT, whatever it is.
Anywhere.
Wherever you go, with you having a family, how is the thought process and idea of, I'm going to be away for 300 days a year or whatever?
Yeah.
What is that kind of like from a mindset of also being a family man? Because you talk about it, you share it on Facebook. You are very much involved in your daughters and your wives and everything's life. Like, so what is that, I guess, crossroad when you come to it? How is that? How do you deal with that?
I mean, because it's already understood that, like, this is the path that I'm on, you know what I'm saying? Like, I met my current wife, like, in the middle of my career. So it's like, this is a part of who I am. And she's great. She's very understanding. She's very supportive. You know what I'm saying? So it's just one of those things to where, like, she understands that, like, this is what I'm doing to change our lives. You know what I'm saying? When I'm successful, we're successful. And we're both going to benefit from this. Right. And, if success requires sacrifice and time away, and that's just a part of it. So we can not sacrifice it and be in the same situation, or we can sacrifice so therefore later on we good. You know what I'm saying? So, yes, ma'am.
Okay, so I got another 2-part question. One that actually ends up with Kyle's point of, do you believe that it is important to have a partner who either believes in or is as successful as you in the business?
I just feel like it depends on the individuals, right? First of all, if you're gonna do this with a partner, do this with a partner that understands, right? You know what I'm saying? Whether they're in the business or not, they have to understand it, because you can't do this and then go home and fight about doing this. You know what I'm saying? Like, lose. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. It's not something that you can sustain. But I tell it to like a lot of the younger people that I know, is like, if you don't have kids, if you're not married, get to where you want to be, then do that stuff. I know a lot of people feel the way they feel, but whether somebody supports it or not, doing this with somebody else is harder. Mm-hmm. It simply is. Right. Especially if you have kids. It's harder. You know what I'm saying? And it's not impossible, but it's harder. You know what I'm saying? And so it's just one of those things to where I feel like, of course, if you are with somebody, y'all both want to make it work, then y'all make it work, right? You know what I'm saying? But just being realistic, like, this requires a lot of time away. Even when you are present, you're gonna be tired. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're tired because you still have a full-time job that you're doing sometimes. You're still doing a lot of other stuff, and then you still have to split time with this other person. So it's very hard and challenging. It's a balancing act or whatever. But like I say, even with a partner that understands, it's still challenging, simply because we all, that person still requires time. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And honestly, it's not the energy, the money, or none of that. It's the time that you never have enough of. You know what I'm saying? Like, you never just have enough time. And like I said, you can buy this, you can do this, you can do that, but if that time is not spent, then none of the other stuff even really matters.
I just do this media stuff, and you're telling the story I know very well.
So moving off of all this heavy stuff, Mr. Lindsay asks, as the last man to pin Tatum, does Tatum make out of the purge with the title this year?
Well, I hope not.
That was short.
I hope not. As much as I despise Kyrie, you need to cash in on him. What you waiting for, man? Hey, don't you want to be champ?
That's a smart idea.
I don't like. You could have did when I beat him up the other week.
All right,
Should wait till after the.
Moving on from that, just Mr. Hicks asks, have you ever talked to Marcus Rose about a rematch between you and Tim Storm at LSPW? We need a follow-up to y'all's match from the showcase from the Immortal, and a title on the line wouldn't hurt.
No, I haven't spoke to Marcus about that yet. You know, Tim. I'm gonna let Tim.
Marcus.
I said LaMarcus. All right, my bad. I haven't talked to Marcus about it yet. My bad, Marcus. Don't.
Marcus, you bitch. I know you're watching.
Oh yeah.
Don't make jokes.
Oh, yeah.
Don't make jokes about me, bro. My bad, bro. Nah, like I'm gonna let Tim enjoy it. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, you gotta let the old heads, you know, hang on to that. they last little bit. You know what I'm saying?
Oh.
Like I said, I got time. You know what I'm saying? So.
Oh my god.
But I love Tim. But nah, like whenever Marcus want to make that match, you know I'm always down for
Hold
it.
on,
You know what I'm
what's
saying?
the screenshot on that one? Post that on TikTok later.
But yeah, but nah, like whenever you're ready to make that match, but right now, like I say, at the next Lone Star, I'm be defending this bad boy against Nate Collins, and you know Nate Collins is also somebody in this business that's like a brother of mine. I love him to death, and we always tear it down. So I know after his last loss against me, I beat him at his own game, you know what I'm saying? He do the MMA stuff, you know what I'm saying? So I beat him at his own game, so I know he coming for that revenge. But I just want him to know that I'm gonna be ready to defend this not this Lone Star, but this grappler's title. I'm sorry, y'all.
And that is something I've noticed when we've talked to a lot of DFW All Pro graduates is how close all y'all are. Is that something that's instilled to y'all by the head trainer, or is that something y'all literally just, hey, we've gone through hell as a brotherhood, this is how we are together? But it seems like, and it's no disrespect to any other training schools we've seen, the friendships and brotherhoods out of DFW All Pro do seem so strong.
Yeah.
Like, how would you
I think
attest that to?
it's organic. Like I say, like wrestling is a melting pot. You know what I'm saying? Like you have so many different walks of life, so many different ideologies. We become, you know, like we coexist, and not only do we coexist, we become friends. We enjoy time with each other, and I think that's true with a lot of locker rooms. Like I say, but don't get me wrong, like DFW All Pro, it definitely is like a family environment.
Yeah.
People definitely have each other's backs. You know, there's a genuine love. It's a genuine love because, like you say, it's that brotherhood. We're going through this training. We both have a similar passion that, like, is a ridiculous passion to have, right? You know what I'm saying? But we all have it, and it's understood. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, that right there is that link, and then you get to know people, and you're like, well, you know, we think we have different beliefs, but that doesn't make us, you know, bad or good. Right. It just makes us people. You know what I'm saying? And so, you know, you just judge people by, you know, their output, you know what I'm saying? And so, and it's the same at NPX, like, you know, it was always that little NPX versus DFW for whatever reason for a while, you know what I'm saying? And like their relationship is 1,000 times better, and that's amazing because I love both of these companies. DFW is my home, NPX is my second home. It's like mom and dad, or going to go visit my grandmother. Like
I got two Christmases.
They just separate, you know what I'm saying? But like I say, I look at both of those places as home. Yeah. I mean, and I just love to see, you know, NPX at DFW and DFW at NPX, and just it's just a beautiful thing because it's just gonna make this scene of wrestling that much better. You know what I'm saying? So
kind of twofold question. First one, how was it coming into the MPX locker room the first time? Because at the time you did come in, and I may be wrong, but it was kind of that DFW All Pro backlash, hate kind of stuff like that. Did you feel any difference, or was it just a locker room and they accepted you easily?
Maybe like when I came in, maybe that type of stuff was kind of gone, or maybe it wasn't actually there. I don't know the real answer to that, but like it was all love. Like when I came in, because at that point I kind of already met a lot of the people at NPX, and so it was just kind of like one of those things that was like, oh, glad to see you here type thing. You know what I'm saying? Like glad to have you. And so like since day one, it was always love. Like it was just always love, and like it felt like home pretty much immediately.
Yeah, I remember after your first match, he messaged Richard on a shared chat and was like, "You need to bring him back." He said, "Oh, don't worry."
And the second part to that is, so DFW All Pro does these dojo wars. Say there is a DFW versus MPX. What side are you technically on?
That's a good question, man. Like, just to answer quickly, it's whoever got the biggest dollar amount. Not just
Which one's putting the title on me?
but all I'm saying is they're both home. Like, it just depends on, I guess I have to go DFW because that's OG. You know what I'm saying? But you know what I'm saying, I wouldn't mind doing either. So like that's an interesting dynamic. You know,
it's a triple threat. You're by yourself. There's an All Pro and an MPX.
It's an interesting dynamic. So like I say, if y'all do that,
the first thing is a ladder match.
Ladder match. I'm hanging up there. Ladder match for Exodus Prime.
It's fucking Lou versus Palmer. They have to pull you down.
Hey, bro, I'm down for it, bro.
I was gonna say that's that's a harder question than say like civil disorder versus property itself.
I'm definitely choosing property itself.
Yeah, no, he is full on purpose up.
I believe that. Yeah,
I'm definitely choosing property itself.
You're just gonna see Exodus up there like, guys,
Mom, Dad, stop.
I don't like it when you're fighting.
Okay, all right, we're starting.
Versus DFW, guest ref, Exodus.
We're starting to get to our cutoff time, so real quick, I want to ask you. We already know that you're going to be at the Wrestling Revolver versus MPX thing this weekend. Where else are you going to be in coming weekends?
Oh, okay. So pull out the calendar. So this Sunday I'm at Inspire in Austin. At the what's that venue called?
Is it the fucking Let's Go? Wait.
It's the
Is it the small one?
It's the outside stage.
It's not Comic-Con, but yeah, DFW and VIP are doing it. They have 2 shows each night.
I can't remember.
Yeah.
No, wait, they're gonna do pinballs on the 16th. I mean, on the 23rd. So they're gonna be at pinball on the 23rd.
Yeah.
I keep thinking about coming. But yeah, I'm gonna be at VIP on the 16th.
Alright.
Lone Star on the 21st.
Nice.
Inspire again on the 22nd. Inspire on the 23rd. I already said that. MPX on the 29th. VIP again on the 28th. So I'm here for y'all. Oh yeah, I got Sore on August 5th. I'm gonna beat up Dante Smalley.
Oh, good.
Woohoo! Yeah,
I was just talking about
Man, that's a match. Oh, okay, I may have to go to Source simply because I wanted to see that match for a while.
Yep. Then and on the next month I'm in Mississippi, so like I say, I'm just kind of everywhere, y'all. Like,
nice.
But like in the next couple weeks, it's definitely gonna be Inspire and VIP. So
all right. Well, that's where you can catch Exodus Prime. You can also check out his music on Spotify. Look for Miguel Starks.
YouTube, Apple Music, everywhere.
Oh yeah, everywhere.
Yeah, does it include all of your like Facebook, Twitter, Instagram?
What, like those links?
Yeah.
Give us man. So Instagram, Twitter, it's gonna be at the Mass Exodus, _Mass_Exodus, or just search Exodus Prime. I should pop up. Facebook Exodus Prime. Music gonna be on Spotify. Miguel Starks. My real name, so that's MA apostrophe capital GAYLE Starks, like Tony but with an S, plural. That's on Spotify, Apple Music. If you want to listen to it for absolutely free without no subscription, go to YouTube. Just search Miguel Starks or Exodus Prime. Just search Miguel Starks or Yeah, and it'll be on right there on YouTube. It's on Tidal. It's on all that. You can even share my music on your stories on Instagram and Facebook.
Nice.
Yo, I do have a question for you. Do you have any merces currently for sale?
Yeah, I have. I don't have any shirts right now, but like I do have a lot of like trinkets. Like I have my little video game controller that I wear. I have wristbands. I have trading cards. You know what I'm saying? And then I am going to actually get some more shirts pretty soon. But I'm just trying to.
Are we looking at like a new logo?
Yeah, like I said, it's gonna be a brand, like a fresh new design. But I think I'm probably gonna work with who they nickname Conspiracy.
Yeah. Conspiracy.
I'm gonna work with Conspiracy to give me a nice little dope logo,
Nice.
and then I'll probably gonna give me a new shirt pretty soon.
Awesome. Are
Well-
you? I'm sorry to interrupt you, but are you on? What was that Texas one? Or no, the place that's in fucking Chicago that does everybody.
Oh,
shirts?
Pro Wrestling Tees.
Yeah, I'm on Pro Wrestling Tees. Yeah, I'm on Pro Wrestling Tees, but I haven't updated in like 2 years. So
So get yourself a classic
So
Exodus
you
Prime
get you some
shirt.
classics on there, like they still
Get
some good
that,
shirts.
get that Prime Flight shirt.
Yeah.
Man,
No, cause fuck Kyrie.
I don't want to split money with
I
him.
won't give him no money.
Fuck that machine.
But yeah, it's on Pro Wrestling Tees. But I'm actually gonna update my Pro Wrestling Tees pretty soon.
Nice.
So yes, sir.
All right. So is there anything else you want to promote before we end up moving on?
Let me see. That's it. Like wrestling, music. Yeah, man. That's
you ever
it.
get that video game thing going?
Oh yeah. I got a personal training ebook.
Oh,
Nice.
Ebook that's gonna drop. I'm trying to get it done by November, December.
Is that like a personal site or is it?
No, it's gonna be like a personal
Amazon?
training. It's gonna be a personal training. But yeah, it's gonna be. It's gonna be $10. It's gonna be. But it's gonna be the pretty much kind of what I discussed today, like the simple, effective way
Nice.
to not only lose weight but gain muscle and maintain it to where it's not like you don't and then you're gonna be able to eat the things you love. And it is going to teach you the principles of working out and how to apply those principles every day.
Is that just working out or is that going to be recipes too?
Not recipes. I'm not big on being a nutritionist. I don't like to tell people what to eat. Too many palates are too different, right?
Yeah.
So I can give you the principles, and then Then once you know what food you're eating, then you can get your own.
It's like you were saying, it was about counting the calories and stuff like that, giving out, taking in, all that.
all right. So thank you very much, man, for joining us. Exodus Prime is the pretty much the definition of what Kyle and I always say. Make sure you love and appreciate your indie wrestlers today because you never know if they're going to be on TV tomorrow. We're hoping to see you on TV soon. Get that contract. I want to see that banner.
Forever.
I want to see that banner. Exodus Prime is all elite. But thank you very much for joining us tonight.
Yes.
Yeah, so much.
It
Thank
was
you.
really
Guys.
awesome. Make sure you guys tune in this Saturday. We're also having a special show. We're going to have Jet Black, one of the biggest up and comers in Texas right now. Coming from Houston, Texas. And next week, I think I'll wait till after Jet because I don't want to get hit. So
Kari!
no, Mark
That
out.
loser
Keep it
gonna be
kayfabe.
here. Just tell him he can't sit where I sit. Just tell him.
See y'all next week.